Welcome to another course sales tutorial. Today we're going to talk about adding a process step. This is specifically to remind students about a course. So the first step is to actually add the process step. So we go into automation, we add a new process step. We're going to call this reminder. So this is to remind students, to remind participants that they have a course coming up, so they know the venue. We don't want anyone not turning up or turning up late because they don't know the details. So we're going to add a short label in there that appears in the status of documents, and the label which appears in the drop down for the workflow. We're going to type in a percentage complete, which tells us roughly how much work's been done. There's no effect on inquiries or registrations in this case. It's a user only activity. It's not going to be automated, and it's going to happen about 3 days prior to the course. So we're going to add a brief description in there so people know about what this process step is if anyone's looking at it later. Also got to make sure we change the status from draft to active. So the next step after this, after we've added it, is to then add the email. So we're going to add that email with the location details. So once we've added email and location details, we'll then be creating the process rule. So to add the email, we go into content, that's in the publish tab. We're going to filter by content type email, and we're going to actually add based on this content. It's the easiest way to create things in course sales, is to use this add based on the content. It's like a duplication feature. It's much more better at making you efficient in your content creation. So we're going to give a label of reminder, and we're going to edit the subject line, add in the start date of the course. You're not going to use a field picker to do this, and the field picker will come up. It'll give us an option to choose a record type, which in this case is the course date, which is where we find the start. We're going to type in start, and then it'll auto-filter the possible variables that we can use, the fields that we can use. So course start date is what we're interested in there. And we're also going to add at the beginning of that subject line, because the short content represents the subject line for an email, a little reminder for people to contact us. Then we're going to modify the body of the email, remind them that the course is starting soon, so please look at the details and be aware of them. Then we're going to get rid of the description after we've added a few more variables. So we want to add all the information we can about the venue, because we want to remind people of the venue details. You might include information. Some things you can include is the phone number of the trainer, even if you have that trainer associated with the course. You can be quite, you can even provide links to Google Maps and things like that as well, if you've got the latitude and longitude details entered into the venue. So here we can see we're going to be adding a street of the venue. And one more, we're going to be looking for the venue postcode as well. Let's see if we can add that in. And that'll complete the information we have about the address for the venue. And remember, this is an opportunity to sell as well, so make sure you talk up the course and get people interested. So the next step is adding a process rule. We're going to add a process rule because the process step doesn't do much by itself. It's got to have a process rule to trigger the sending of the email. So we're going to go into process rules. We're actually going to use this add based on this process rule again. Again, it helps us pre-fill in lots of fields for us. To call this a reminder rather than a registration. Make sure we write a brief description, so people who are doing modifications to the configuration later know what this is about. And we're going to link it to a particular process step, namely the process step about the reminder. Applies to completed, not just draft. Everything else is fine. Happy to come from the branch. Now once we save this, once we add this, we actually do still have to then go in and edit it to add in the other email contacts, other roles that should be receiving this email. So we scroll down to the bottom there. Yep, there we go. And we're just going to add that role. Going to add a role, namely the delegate, have the information sent to the delegate. And we'll also be just checking to make sure there's no other extra people who should know about this course. We can CC or BCC them in. So once we've done the process step and the process rule and the email, we've then got to add to the process path. So again, we go into automation, click on the path that's relevant. We've only got two paths here, a call state path and a document path. Luckily, we're doing a document process step here. So we're going to scroll down to the relevant point in the process path and work out where we should put this process step. So we're going to add the process step into the process path. And the process path is linked to the course masters. You can have different paths depending on the master. And we clicked on summary there so it comes up in reports. So now we're going to look at the testing it by looking at the preview. So go into a document, edit the document and choose the process step that we've just created, namely reminder. There it is down the bottom there. And we're going to have a look at the preview, and there we can see all the right information in their process, the email, who it's going to, etc. Thanks for watching.